Public comment matters already on the agenda. We'll give you 3 minutes now, and then public comment 3 minutes at the end. But for anything on the agenda now, we're going to be pretty strict on that tonight. We got a lot of stuff on here. So if there's any public comment about the agenda, we'll take them now. Approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Forrestal,
Yes.
Bears.
Yep.
Youngers,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
Renee.
Comments or updates from the city clerk or city attorney?
I just shared with Kisa and Mayor that when I got the updated agenda, item 2, G2, we need to have the ability to go to closed session on that, and we have to give notice that we're going into closed session. So we're gonna have to table item G2, and we can do it promptly. You can do it during a special meeting. You just have to give the notice that there's gonna be a closed session, so.
That's it.
That's it.
Thank you. No mayor's comments right now. Pending business, council vote to accept or deny awarded Iowa DNR grant for the church.
I'll make a motion. We voted on it, so she did the grant. We got some money. It's like, so there's no reason not to vote on it. We got to vote yes. So I make a motion to accept the DNR grant for the church.
I'll second. Roll call.
Maher,
Yes.
Youngers,
Yes.
Forrestal,
Yes.
Kernan, Bears.
Update on Winding Hills Edition. Rodney, do you want us, if you got anything to say, I don't know. You just need to go to the podium if there's any questions or anything that you have for him.
No, I had an email exchange with, Ted Olt, his attorney. And again, we explained, he had made some changes to his proposed development agreement. We still have the concern about going into our 5% debt limit. So we had to change it again. I sent that version over to him, and I advised that we would be here tonight. I don't know if he shared it with you or not.
Our sticking point is that in what she's wrote up, that if you guys don't ever want to pay me, you don't have to. And all we're trying to get is changed that someday. I get it. You guys, the city's small. You guys have problems 1 year, 2 years, whatever. I just want paid sometime for the tip that I put. You know, the way it's wrote, it's not that way. So somehow we got to change it.
Is there, Candy, I'm gonna have to take your lead on this. Is there a way we can change it to, or?
Well, it's not exactly as, I mean,
Hold on.
he has,
Take,
hang on, I'm coming here.
you can
There- He has to do an it's a special form, I'm sorry, I've got it attached here too. The annual certification in order to get the TIF. The other thing we need from you is what the value, your developer's property, what each lot, what you're having the minimum value at. We didn't have that number. I mean, we can still work on it. It was just to give you guys an update. So what,
That's not the stigma. I'll give you guys anything you want to see. I won't. But the way she's writing it is not correct. And it needs to be, otherwise I'm done.
You want the infrastructure and roads and stuff paid
Yeah.
for, just like we did the
Well,
other day.
not even all of them. I'm not even going for all of them. I'm just trying to get, it's $500,000. And that's putting all roofs, water, sewer, all the way up past my place. And that helps for further developments because in front of my pole barn on the road, there's a ditch through there and you can't go through there, so I gotta redo that whole thing. And the way, the first TIF didn't go through, so now I can only put in 6 lots, there's still 3 there that can be developed later. But, man,
Our TIF attorney should be able to help you with your write-up of that.
Yeah, I've got Lane Waters as my attorney, and he had it all down, and he told me, don't touch this, the way she got it wrote. Forget it. We need somebody else to get involved.
This is our original
They can-
tip.
I appreciate that. I've been working on it 3 years trying to get this through, and it's a little aggravating.
Well,
Yeah.
no, the paragraph that you're talking about deals with future. So if 1 year, because the city can't commit to be in debt more than its 5% limit, this, the way your attorney had it written, it would be ad infinitum. I mean, you could just keep making the application every year. And if we don't have the ability to extend that amount, we don't have the ability to extend that amount.
I have never had a problem with that, I totally get it, just like I said. The problem is the board changes all the time, mayor changes. The next board says, you know what, he's making too much money, he's got kinds, we're not gonna pay him. That's the way it changes.
So can we do that so that he has some assurances that it'll, no matter who's sitting up here, it'll work out? I mean, whatever we promise him, it would be nice for him to know that he's actually gonna get that.
Well, I'm gonna follow on, Councilmember Kernan's suggestion, and I'm gonna talk to bond council.
Okay.
Because they're a step over us,
Mhm.
in Des Moines. But, I mean, this, we ran through, Tom Pasternak, who's done TIFs all along Elmore Avenue. You guys all know how Elmore Avenue developed. That was all based on TIFs. Tom did all of that. So Tom knows what he's doing. And Tom drafted this.
Yeah, so's my guy, I mean, they work with Davenport.
Our other one didn't go against our bond test, the one we wrote up here, so
Well,
that's.
they're
I
all
just
gonna be
gave-
okay.
I
I've
just
got
gave
it.
her
I'll
the
get it.
original copy for her to move on.
Yeah.
It'd be, is it in there in that, when you did Hidden Hills, or not Hidden Hills, but Lost Road?
I'm curious, was this done, yeah, this was done when Lane and Waterman were your attorneys?
Did it work
Which-
out?
Well, I don't know what the bond limit, well, I didn't know
Dorsey and
what,
Whitney finished it up.
Yeah. so I'm not surprised that this might match what Ted prepared, because Lane and Waterman were your attorneys then.
So if we go to talk to the bond council, that'll be like a third opinion. I think that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, no, I'll talk to them at Dorsey and Whitney.
Okay, it'd be nice to move on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, when you talk to him, get with me right away and let's try to move this thing along. If we have to do some extra meetings or whatever to get it going. Yeah, I know it's been long enough.
yeah, well, I appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Okay, Princeton Park Board 501c3 discussion. You guys will have to go whichever one is doing the talking or both.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello, Mayor and members of council. On behalf of the Parks and Recreation Committee, we have respectfully submitted this request for consideration by the council in regarding the future structure of our committee. For several years, the Park Board has worked in great partnership with the city to support our parks, recreational programming, and all of our community events. During this time, we've grown in scope and community involvement, increasing our collaboration with the groups like Summerfest and Easter egg hunt and all the happenings to strengthen our community. As our work has expanded, we've recognized an opportunity to increase our effectiveness by transitioning into an independent nonprofit 501c3. By establishing the community partnership as a separate organization, it will allow us to pursue grants, funding, accept tax deductible donations, and just have broader partnerships. We're not able to do that now as a park board because we're affiliated and under the auspices of the city. I want to emphasize that this transition is not intended to reduce our relationship, any partnership, anything we've always been doing in the past. It's to strengthen everything and to get more money. We all like that. We have a good volunteer group now. We have a strong board, and we want to continue doing this by doing the cans, supporting the dog park, and everything else that benefits Princeton. The committee respectfully requests the city council's approval to formally separate the park board from the city's organizational structure so that it may reorganize as an independent nonprofit entity under the name the Community Partnership. Upon approval, we will intend to continue working in collaboration with the city to support our parks and community improvement efforts. We value the partnership we've always had, and this is simply a way to move forward for the coming years. Our hope is that this next step will allow us to work and grow in ways that will benefit the entire community. Thank you for your consideration.
So when we had Princeton Days, back when I ran it, we were a 5013C. We had some paperwork that didn't get filed at the end of the year. So who's gonna be in charge?
Oh, I'll do all that. I do everything.
Because
as
we
you see.
actually lost that and got in a little trouble.
Yeah, no,
That's
that
how
won't
we ended
happen.
up having to go with the city. So,
Good advice, good advice. No, that won't happen. As you see, I do the minutes every month. I do the very next day after our meetings. I'm very proficient at that. So yes, that's good advice on that. And we also have our, Angie.
Our Angie.
Our Angie.
Our partnership.
She's gonna make sure, she won't let that, it won't be something, we're not doing all this so that we can lose that. That's a very good point. Thank you.
and will affect insurance.
What kind of?
No, they'll carry their own?
Yep, 501c3.
No, understood, but if it's somehow affiliated with the city, no, sorry.
Just face it over there. I think it'll pick
Yeah.
up most of it.
If it's somehow affiliated with the city, you can never stop people from naming you in the lawsuit.
Well, everything, if we decide to do a building, we decide to do a water fountain, it all has to be
Approved.
by the city council, just like it always would.
So you
Then it
don't
will
want
impact
the,
the insurance.
you don't want the park board, you want two park boards, you just want.
We don't care if y'all have a park board, it won't be us, we'll be a 501, we'll be the community partnership. Yep. Carrying on with the cans, carrying on with giving the money to everybody. We'll have a formal donation letter, and we welcome people that.
That was the question, was about insurance.
I think the insurance question would be for our insurance man, right? So we should ask him. We can't vote on this tonight, so that's one question we have to ask.
Insurance, okay,
But
I'll
I
mark
don't
that
see
down.
that being the end of the world.
Well, the last time we set up something like this, we had the board, with the park board that was the city, and then
Additionally insured.
the other, the bike trail deal. It's like a bike trail deal. And then with the park board came.
Insurance coverage too.
That's how we did it last time.
We'll have to talk to the insurance.
I'm not sure what you're saying, I'm
So
sorry.
it's just kind of more bureaucratic red tape. Just-
Yeah, and this is hopefully too, we think this will really eliminate the need, not that we'll still have our first Monday of the month meetings and do our minutes.
But is your recommendation to have a park board?
That's up to y'all, that's not something for us. If you feel that,
Cause you guys aren't gonna be doing just strictly park stuff. It'll be whatever you see the need for.
yes,
Right, yeah.
absolutely. It's really for the emphasis of grant funding, because we can't get anything now.
Right.
So, yeah,
But you'll still be doing a lot of the stuff that the park board did anyways.
absolutely, everything, yep, raising
So I
money,
guess-
donating, yep.
My thought would be, we don't really, I mean, I guess if someday we see a need for a park board, we can always throw one together, but for right now, just see how it goes.
What are you going to do with the existing parks though?
We don't run those parks, that's all public works, we don't do anything, we
Yeah.
don't have a budget with the city, we don't. do
Public
anything
Works
with that.
mows and takes care of all
Well,
that
we have a
stuff.
park board by ordinance, so I mean, that's what she's saying, is the park board is by ordinance, it's 5 members, and they're appointed by council, so you can't just like throw that away. I mean, there can be no members if you can't get it, but you just have to,
Yeah, that's up to the city council.
you gotta figure out
Yeah,
the structure of how this is going to work.
that would be up to the city council.
Like with the bike path, they were bike path council, they were board for the city, and then there was a nonprofit beyond them. So they went from the nonprofit to the board to us. Remember that?
Yes.
That makes
That's
sense.
exactly what we're doing, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's what you kind of want to do.
So
Okay.
Candy, you think this needs some work before we pass it today?
Yeah,
You can't pass it tonight.
We can't pass it tonight anyways.
I would think that structure would work really well,
Mhm.
so.
and we'll talk to Hans.
Okay. Any more questions?
I have
Thank
one
you.
question. When will the vote take place?
423.
423.
Okay, perfect,
Yeah,
thank
we'll throw
you.
that on there so we can.
Okay, thank you, yeah, so we could submit the application to the state.
Yep.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for everything you guys do too.
Yes.
Welcome. That's our next meeting we have scheduled, and that's for the budget meeting.
Okay.
And I'll be out of town at the clerk conference next week.
Plan zone, Tim, you're up.
All right. Couple things, quick. We met Tuesday, we talked about sidewalks. I talked to Wyatt, he had called me last week or maybe a week ago. About Walker Lakers, that last section. And he mentioned that, well, it'd be nice just to take the curve and go up to the other curve and don't cut in, they have ADA, but look at the ADA regulations. And I don't wanna do it either, but we gotta follow ADA regulations, we're gonna have to put tread plate across from that and have a crossing. Cause there isn't anything else to connect the east side going in to the west side, as far as ADA, you have to go all the way to the end. And you can't go more than 200 feet on a regular sidewalk without it's called a passing zone. You know, if you got a long sidewalk in a public area, you got a resting or a place to stuff to the side to let people on. So, yeah, it'd be great if we could just turn the corner and go. We discussed it. I think if you look at the one going into Gloucester Acres on Hamilton side, on the east side, there's like a little square spot where that would be probably anticipated to cut across. And Gloria asked, why did they do it when they built the sidewalk? Because you can't put ADA crosswalk going to nothing. They have to match to match. Because otherwise you're just walking forever and you have no stopping point. So that's why we have to do both of them. So that one, obviously it's probably gonna take bids again because Chris looked at this a few years ago and we already know we're paying for it, but we're gonna have to figure out, the lowest bid probably to get something put in like that. That's really all we discussed on it, we discussed a little bit, but you guys are gonna talk about that the next time as far as solar, but, Matt Shapiro's here. He's not on the agenda, but, he brought some ideas. He lives on Second Street, okay? The old Roger Beecham house. Then there's that water that goes underneath Second Street by Vine. And he had an idea. I said, well, it's gotta go through you guys, cause that's not mine, it's not Chris's, but, I know where Chris stands on it, cause it's a floodplain, it's a wastewater for overflow.
Yep.
So I don't know if you wanna get up, can he get up real quick?
Yeah.
Show you what he's got, so you guys can at least think about it, maybe on the next agenda next month. You can take some serious look at it or whatever, so Matt, if you wanna come up here, you can explain that.
Tim, quickly, do you have a recommendation to the board from the solar project tonight?
I don't have one printed.
You have a recommendation to move forward with?
Yeah, we'll move forward. I know there's been some development. We did meet last month with the engineers, the two here, and Chris and I, and we can eliminate the railroad, but definitely can be on the dikes. As far as that goes, the fencing, I got a hold of county. County said the fencing we have there is good enough for them. They don't need anything other than, because it's private property. There's already a barbed wire fence or restrictions, so yeah, but I don't know what it's gonna cost, but I think it'd be worth to get some bids and just see where it actually falls in. Because by limiting the railroad, it is something that we can move forward with. I think we can make it by the July 4th move, to get some kind of tax credit if it's still available, so that would be our recommendation.
With moving it to the other side of the track,
Yeah.
are we limiting our ability to add on to it
No,
at some point? if
No,
people want
not at
to?
all. It would be on a dike. Chris,
You guys do you wanna save this solar talk for when we get to the solar?
I just asked for the recommendation.
Yeah.
oh, okay, all right. So if we get Matt up here, just introduce his ideas,
Yeah.
and then won't be long, because he's got some drawing or some prints, but.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Matt.
Yeah. I think so.
Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Shapiro, and I bought the property at 1005 Second Street and the lot right next to it, which is on the other side of Vine Street from 1852. And it's not really a street, but it's also like a water drainage passage north of this street on paper, but not street in reality. So the drainage complicates ever making it a street, as do the homes that exist there right now. So there's not plans for a street, there's never been plans for a street, it was just mapped out a long time ago. So my request is to amend city records, change property lines. City will vacate some of their land that is Vine Street. I'll vacate some of my land that is on the north, it's lot 6, because then the drainage will be rezoned as, not as a right of way, but as an easement. So that way it still prevents development on that kind of critical drainage point in that neighborhood. At the same time, it allows me to make the hill that's Vine Street prettier. And I might even build a garage there instead of having my driveway off the highway. It's a little treacherous. So it's safety measure, plus it'll look a ton better. Right now, there's some drainage pipes that are non-functional and rusting and dangerous, sharp edges and stuff. So it's like a larger conversation, I realize. But that's kind of what's on my mind, to just make that area prettier and kind of match real world to the legal documentation.
Brad, as a neighbor, do you
Okay.
have 2 cents on that?
Yeah.
You want me to go up there or stay here? There's so much water coming down through there. I put my development in as it goes. I've got to put a window in there because the water comes through there, it'll flood it. So when I talk about a window, I'm talking about putting a wall and a smaller intake so it doesn't flood that area, because it will flood the way it sits right now.
Yeah, it doesn't flood because there's a path that goes under my
Yeah,
driveway.
well, it'll flood. You just haven't got a big enough rain.
Okay, so like when it torrential rained this last week, that wasn't big enough. It was like 2 inches of
Well,
rain.
I've got a 36-inch pipe coming out to make sure that, it covers everything.
Yeah.
But down there, there's something downstream that's smaller, that's gonna flood, so it'll back up in that area.
Yeah, because records from the property, it's not flooded and I don't need flood insurance there because it goes right under the highway and then goes over into the river. So, and even the area that goes under my driveway now, it's not an easement. So essentially I could dig it up and screw up the whole flow of water. So it's not only for my interest, it's also for the cities. Because right now, part of my property is it's actually on the other side of the water way coming down.
So this will have to go through Board of Adjustments, we were just talking about it down here. For something like this, I think.
It's just planning and zoning, isn't it?
Well, I think it's gonna take all of us. I think it's gonna take, we're gonna have to get with the public works. I mean, we're talking, if it is a go or not a go, I'm not saying anything, but we're talking what kind of retaining wall is gonna be put in, so it doesn't collapse ever. We're, like with Rod says, you put, 6 houses up there, eventually 9 if you ever get that done, but you're talking a lot more water flow than what's there right now, where it's absorbed into the ground. When you get straight into the catch basins, you get the, water coming off the sidewalks and driveways, it's gonna inundate, it's gonna be a lot of water. So, I mean, it's gonna take a project to get a lot of minds together on it.
Well, the water can still pass through there.
Right.
I know it needs to pass through there. But at
Well,
the
he's
same
saying,
time-
what Rodney's saying is, you got a big water pipe going to a small water pipe.
Yeah.
Now, the water coming out the other end is gonna be awful hard, it's gonna come out hard, because you're reducing it like a venturi.
Right.
But getting there, it's gonna back up, and then it's gonna come out of that pit right along Second Street, and flood right down into, Highway 67. Not saying your basement's gonna flood,
Yeah.
but it's gonna come out of that pit and go right down on the street.
Yeah.
That's how much water's gonna be coming down that hill. So, it's gonna take some project thought.
Yeah, some engineering, because, right now that hasn't happened, but I guess it hasn't factored
Right.
in development upstream that is going to make it
Right.
more of a problem for me downstream.
Right.
So it
Okay.
sounds like you'll probably have this on your agenda for next month.
Yeah, well, I can put you on our agenda back next month
Okay,
for planning and zoning.
sounds good.
And, yeah, and then,
We can invite the Board of Adjustment.
Welcome to town.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.
okay, thank you.
Do you wanna add board of adjustments to that meeting too?
No,
I don't have to yet.
I don't think so yet, because,
It goes-
I just didn't know.
I understand what you're getting, but Board of Adjustment should have a, what do you wanna call it, not an unbiased opinion from what we talk about. So when it goes to them, and, where's the hardship and all this stuff, in order to follow the hierarchy of their
Yeah.
committee,
Right.
I would, okay, thank you. But
Okay,
I like the idea, but I think it might cause conflict.
I was just trying to keep you from having to explain it twice or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Good enough. All right, resolutions. 2026-07, a resolution calling for setting a public hearing and directing advertisement for bids for the Princeton ground-mounted solar total volt AIC array project for the wastewater treatment plant.
That's fine, fine.
Lori, I think you probably wanna,
Okay,
Start off.
late last night, we got an email from the engineers that might change the scope of this project a little bit. The last 3 years of the electric bills for the sewage treatment ponds, we got those, and the engineers took a look at them, and the usage, the kilowatt usage on those has gone up a lot in the past year. I think Chris put in there's additional pumps or additional aerators,
No additional, just all 10 are running.
because all of them are running where they weren't running before in the past. So that being said, the engineers reached out to a couple of solar installing companies and found that in order to if we wanted to have that much usage and have these solar panels cover that, we would have to increase the scope of the project. It would have to be more panels, which would in turn cost more money. We don't know exactly how much yet. Could be 50, 100, 150,000, we're not sure. We wouldn't know until we got the bids in. I did run some amortization schedules again, and handed them out up here to kind of look at, the energy savings that we'd be looking at and what the loan would end up costing, what the payments would maybe be on that loan. I ran that figuring 4% increase in electricity over each year. And that's low. That's probably on the very low end. The industry experts are saying that the electricity could increase anywhere from 8 to 10 to 12%. So those numbers would shift significantly if the energy actually costs more. So that the engineers, did you come up with a number, like how much have we spent on engineering so far for this project, and maybe what are we maybe looking at to actually put it out to bid? To get it to the point where we can do
can
that.
you go to the podium?
Oh.
So YouTube, you wanna go with her? That way, if you guys have anything, because people are gonna wanna hear this.
So far, we got the energy, the utility bills just this week, so we finally took a look at them, and that's when I reached out and said, hey, we may wanna talk, because we were trying to keep these costs down, and
We're getting them down, but moving the
Well,
thing
yeah.
across the river, or across the
yeah, we
railroad
got them
tracks
down, but now the unit, the rate has to be bigger. So right now, through today, I looked, and we're probably right around $6,000 just in rewriting the specs and getting the new location mapped out, site visit, all the stuff. So, we probably are looking, if you're wanting to continue and take this to bid, you're probably looking at another 4 just to get 2 bids, 3 bids, pre-bid meeting. field where it is located now isn't really accessible to the solar companies, so we're recommending having a pre-bid meeting where they come down, and check it out with Chris there. So by the time we do that and bid opening, award and all that, you know, probably another 4,000. And
On
then,
top of the
oh,
six.
and, well, yeah, because we also, the last time we did not do any of the permitting, the floodplain permitting and all of that, we were waiting to see if we were gonna award it, so, you know, why spend the money to do that if you're not going to award the projects, we didn't do it, but this time we're kind of in a race against time, so this is assuming if we go to bids, we do the bidding, and, you know, we're assuming that the contractors can do physical work at the site before that July 5th deadline. So, and given that, I guess, with your projections, yeah, there's no guarantees, it's really hard to figure out we did some research, Ashley called some contractors, one in Illinois, another guy who just bid on some, or was working on some stuff in Tipton, and got a lot of good information, and, you know, it may be less than 350,000, but I'm not comfortable making any promises, especially with the state of the economy and the wartime effort and whatnot right now, it's hard to say.
So the people doing the Rock Creek solar part of the bids, or do they, there's a huge array out here, there's the, all the country.
Is it done or they're working on it?
No, they're working.
They're working on it.
It's just.
I don't know if those guys do small stuff like this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they probably do the huge, they're doing like 1,000 acres.
It's like 100 acres out there.
What are they powering with that?
Huh?
What are they powering with that, do you know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
A battery facility in Wilmore.
That-
The gentleman that works down here, or lives down here, he's working on it.
I guess I would just say, okay, my first thought is, it doesn't matter if it's $100,000 or $300,000. If we're putting solar in to cover the power, right? Doesn't matter how big it is, just a matter of how much debt we want to go into, but it should still work out, right? If we're paying for it.
Eventually it works out.
In the long run.
You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if we're putting in a small array or a big one. If it made sense for the small one, it should make sense for the big one. If we're using more power,
Generally,
right?
Yeah, because
Right.
You
the
follow
power
what I'm
bill's
saying?
higher, which has caused this, so.
right, but I think what you're probably saying is you're, borrowing more, so your debt service is gonna be a little higher maybe.
Right.
And you're assuming you're gonna get everything back, I mean, the ones you ran were for 250 and 300. I think it does come in at 350 or
The
400.
350 wasn't looking,
Well, this is still showing what, like a 23-year payoff?
So we don't know what it's gonna cost, they haven't had a bid in at all, so
Yeah, but these are off the
I mean-
old numbers even.
I know that, but you're predicting 350,000 on engineering stuff.
Yeah, it's.
But we don't know
it's
what
tough.
these contractors don't throw at us.
I think the big question is, do we want to spend $4,000 more just to go, oh,
yeah, that's what we need to decide
yeah,
tonight.
that's the question right now is, if it comes in at 350, are we all comfortable with saying, or do we have enough votes that we would be like, yeah, that sounds like a good deal? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is, I wish I had a better feel for you on what's gonna happen,
Right,
but
we just don't know we don't know the interest rate. You know, you can say the interest rate is something today, but in 2 days that could be different.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
That was a question too that I had. When we were talking about River Drive, we looked into that SRF loan, which is for water and sewer,
Right.
which was about half of the interest rate.
And
So I don't know why this wouldn't qualify
I
for
need
that.
to chat with Angie about that SRF loan.
Yeah,
I
Denise,
spoke with them a little bit.
Denise is pretty sharp too. You have her number.
We have conversations.
Yeah, so that would definitely be something to look into, but that doesn't really have anything to do with right now, right? This
It
moment.
could,
Yeah.
Kind of does.
It kind of
could.
does, but
Yeah.
it could, because we're approved.
it's an
for that.
unknown, but
We're approved for that loan now, and the scope of the project can be changed.
Potentially.
This is to approve the public hearing, correct?
Right, so what you would need to do, if you're still on the fence, we're up to, against a time crunch, because you won't get your payout unless you're there on site doing physical work by that deadline. So we're stuck with this deadline. We can work out, hash out a few things in the next few days and get it out to bid. Or you can decide, you know, that this isn't gonna work and maybe at your, or you had another meeting on the 23rd, then you cancel it then. But if you've gotta decide that you're gonna set the public hearing date tonight or,
Right.
or you're not gonna make that
cancel,
deadline.
we could cancel the public hearing if we decide to do that.
So you don't, so you can discuss it a little bit more, but it's not gonna wait until the 23rd for the next meeting.
if you put it off tonight, it's too late.
I'm looking at that right, as soon as it hits green, that's when we're gaining.
Well, we're gaining up here, really, this is the cumulative savings amount, but up here is where we start. No, this is what the energy will cost us every year. And now this is what we want to do in the process.
Oh, okay, I see, okay, now I see what you did.
So this is, either way, we're paying this.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really
Yeah,
makes
we're-
sense.
We're gonna
is that
pay
we're-
it,
we're
we're
at
gonna
a
pay that
We're
cost
set
one way or
at a
another.
fixed, we're set at a fixed monthly
Right, this,
loan amount.
Yeah.
Now, did you figure it for like 9 months or did you figure it for 12? Because I think those areas only run for like 9 months a year, don't they?
no, they run all the time.
You're running them 12 months now? Okay. I think the last time we talked about it, you were only running them like 9.
Yeah, he's got livestock in there, you gotta keep it alive.
No, I think so.
Yeah, so
I
if
think
we
we're
did
thinking that the
the energy savings, I did to start with. And then it increases every year because of the increase in electricity costs.
Something that, another option would be to
1 second, I'll get you.
assign a top, figure out what kind of system you want, the top, eliminate it, and try to keep the cost down, because the last time the costs were a lot
I'm
lower.
sorry.
The usage bills were a lot lower, so that was running, I think it was $10,000 a year savings.
Yes.
Because you have $15,000 a year now that you are calculating these new bills. And there's I mean, it won't pay all of your bills, but
Right, if you kept the system the same size.
yeah, maybe you can come in and cover $10,000 worth of bills. I don't know if you've
And
done
the,
that.
I went back and looked at my notes, and I could have went back and listened back to one of the recordings, but, Eagle Point talked about the warranty, the production warranty is 30 years. And after that, after 30 years, they say that it's still 85% of its projected, capacity. And it's got a 25 workman's warranty on it. And the supplier has put in additional policy to cover the warranty on the nodules. So he's talked about more of it, but I didn't have it specific enough in my notes. But to look back at it, the warranties are there longer than it would take for us to start making it. If we've got money that we could then save, the savings that we would be saving, starting, if it's a $250,000 project, or if it's, I don't know, I'm looking at yours, I have it right here. A $300,000, in year 6, we come out $500 ahead, that we're not spending on electricity, that could then be put somewhere else. And then the year after that, it's $1,200, the year after that, it's $1,900. And that's each year, and then it just keeps going up from there. That we're not spending on electricity, that we can spend somewhere else on roads or.
Quickly on time front, now just got pressed, right? So you guys got to coordinate what time we can do they publish here,
Wednesdays.
so you gotta get that in line just to get this public hearing done. So can we get all that done in time, is my question.
When was the public hearing?
It would be, your
Wednesday.
your first meeting in May.
Yeah, so we'd have time because it's 4 and 20.
Yeah, you can't publish yet, it's probably not till the end of the month before you can advertise.
May 7th.
Yeah,
Is that,
the
No,
longest
14.
you can do is 20 days before.
14th is all the way.
If we set this date tonight and then do a little more research, it's just, it's not fun being right against the clock like this, but, and we find out, hey, I don't think we wanna do it. We can just,
Before,
like, talk about your on-demand billing that
Yeah.
you wanna look at. And Angie, did you have something too?
Well, I just wanted to circle back to the funds, and I want to make sure that you understand at some point, just like in our everyday life, you will exceed or reach capacity of your common language debt to income ratio here. And you will not, if you continue to access those loans, you may find yourselves in a situation later, or considering the water situation or other things that may come up where you will not be able to access those. There's currently 2 that are getting close to being paid off. And then if there's another one that comes out for solar and that's at an exponentially higher, $400,000, there needs to be a consideration as to what that threshold is, because you don't want to exhaust all of that on a singular project and have no means of accessing those funds for something that may come up that, like the water.
Well, that was my very next thing I was gonna say, because we were just talking about that, income or that, and we were talking about TIF and him
Yes,
10 minutes ago.
yes.
And that was gonna exceed that, so this is gonna pull a big chunk of that for a long time.
So I think as you
3
explore
million is
this,
capacity, right? 3 million is our.
4.
4
Yeah.
4,025,000.
And we've used how much of it?
I don't know where it's at right now because, no, that's, I don't know exactly what's left on each loan. I'd have to go get.
But you got over 2 million left, I'm sure.
It seems to me like if this makes sense, it's not that much money off of your debt capacity. To me, I don't.
Right, it's a low one.
You know what I'm, if it's paying itself and we're, to me, it's not that.
That's my question though. Did anybody find out about the on-demand billing when talking to Mid-American?
I did. I have it in my notes. It shouldn't be a problem.
So we have to be under a certain usage for 12 consecutive months to get off on-demand billing?
No.
Okay. And the next question I had was, so it's paying for itself. Are we still, because I don't know how solar works, are we still paying our electric bill for there and paying a loan, or we just don't have an electric bill there anymore?
Oh, you would, they settle up later, right?
You would have a,
There's like a settle up time when they,
usually, at least in my experience, so no, like as soon as your solar panels get up and running, it immediately gets applied to your electric bill. So whatever your solar panel is producing for that month, it's immediately applied. And let's say you overproduce 1 month and then you underproduce another month, the overproduction from month 1 goes over to your next month. So it's like it constantly supplementing the next month, which is like how they go through and they do kind of a curve to fit type of scenario. So then that way you're always producing at least as much as you need. Obviously it's theoretical still, but that's kind of how it works. So immediately as soon as your solar panels start working, it immediately starts going towards your bills. So you're not going, it's not like you're going to still be paying, I don't know, $7,655, I guess that's a year, so let's say $850 a month, so I'm averaging it out. So let's say you're paying $850 a month for your bills, whatever you occur, so like let's say you gained enough energy to fully cover that $850 bill that month, you're not paying that bill.
So in theory, our payment on the loan should be about the same, or
Right,
real
yeah.
close
I
as
tried
to
to-
what our,
I tried
hopefully
to
we
get
don't
it
have an
close.
electric bill, we use that money to pay for the solar panels.
I tried to get it
we're
close on
swapping
here.
one
And
for a different payment.
I would make a motion to pass 2607 and setting the public hearing and the earliest convenience.
I think it's in that resolution, is it not? I
Yeah,
believe it's in
May
there.
it should be
14th.
listed in the resolution for whatever your first May meeting date is.
Yeah, May 14th.
Are we changing the, or do we need to make a motion to change that title?
Yes,
You can amend the motion.
the resolution identifier.
So make a motion, I make a motion to amend the resolution
Identifier.
identifier
Yes.
number to say resolution 2026-07.
It says in the packet, it's 2025.
And then it's
So we got a motion?
motion, you do it second. if you want.
I second it.
Roll
Wait,
call.
who,
Who seconded her
Who
motion
seconded
to
your
amend?
Kevin, Kevin made the motion.
no,
She seconded
the,
with the amendment.
Oh, with the amendment,
Okay.
gotcha.
Do you have any more questions for the engineers while they're up there?
Forrestal,
Yes.
Ferris.
Yeah.
Kernan.
Yeah.
Maher,
Yes.
Evers.
Yes.
Okay, report of appointed committees. Thank you very much. Anything from any of the committees? I would have something for, I suppose it would be community protection. We had our prom, which was a good time. $3,450 was raised for the fire department. It was fun. Not sure it's the best way to raise money for a fire department, but we kind of already had it planned, so that's what we did. At the end of the day, we turned 2,000 into 3,450, so not terrible. That's the update on that. I don't have anything else. Anybody else got anything?
Do you guys have anything?
Sure.
Water and sewer, so Chris just got the nitrate level results back from this April test, and it was down to 12.9. I handed you this graph, kind of showing it over the past, I don't know, was it 2 years, I think?
Yeah, since we started taking the tests.
January 24, all the way
Where
through.
the blue line on here?
Red line,
Yeah,
that's when we started, that's when we started taking tests in that well.
What's the black line, Chris?
That's just an average across there. She kind of shows the, term or how it's graphing out of high and low.
Okay.
If it was longer, it
Like
probably
what it's
look better.
trending is?
How it's trending,
Yeah.
I think it says trending down there. But they said, DNR says that it takes 3 to 5 years, for what we're going for to really see it starting to trend down if it's gonna. So I thought you guys didn't see that.
Thank you. So another thing on the streets, the county did come out and do some work on the shoulder up there on Lost Grove Road. It's still not quite ideal, but what are we thinking? Are we
Well,
gonna?
does it buy us a couple of years? What did you think of it, Chris?
I guess we'll see what happens with heavy rain if we get any of it.
I talked to Jake Doyle, and he said he could bring a roller home. Do you think that would be of any benefit?
I think it would help,
I don't think it would cost much to rent one for a day.
yeah. I mean, it definitely is gonna help. It's not packing it in there,
Yeah,
the dirt and mud that's there.
right.
Well, I think what's there right now, I think we'll probably wash out in the hard rain.
Yeah, I think so. It depends on where it's at.
The other day, I saw what they were doing. It's like, it's not gonna stay there.
They've been
In my
going around doing that everywhere. I've seen them a few times. But let's see what it does after tonight. Get a look at it tomorrow. We're
Were we
supposed to-
gonna put some more rock in there? I thought there was mention of rock. No.
No, they wouldn't do that, but they did
Okay.
come out and have a grader for us for nothing. So that
That's a
was
start.
nice.
That's a start. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I have my park sponsorship
Oh,
money.
I would appreciate it. Yeah, that is something I could You got anything for parks? I don't know if anybody's been up to the ball diamond, but did they put the roofs on those yet?
There was one done today.
One of them's done. So there should be one roof left and the new dugout to be done. From what I saw, they looked really nice the other day, and that's all. It's all because of all those signs on the fence and people that come up and eat cheeseburgers and do all that stuff. So we appreciate it, and it's
Your city clerk hosting a softball league there.
making me work 3 nights a week up there. So, but thanks to everybody that supports that field. It's we get a lot of compliments, from teams that have never been there before about how nice it is. So it's a good thing for town, and we're pretty proud of it. Did you have something?
Did you wanna do anything with those bleachers before season starts?
I don't think we're gonna do anything with them. Angie's got a grant out there for us.
Okay.
So, our committee up there went ahead and paid her to write a grant, so we'll see what happens there. Maybe possibly sometime in May, we'll hear about that.
I think the end of May, early June, Chris.
Okay,
Should hear pretty soon.
For
It's
3
Three
sets.
sets.
okay.
Yeah, 3 sets of bleachers, concrete underneath them, so we don't have to spray weeds. So,
Okay. You can deal without them and. that's
yeah, I
good.
think we're gonna just live without them for this year, and if this doesn't work out, then we'll have to make another plan.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'll give a quick thanks to everybody that helped out with the Easter egg hunt that we had up there. Weather wasn't great, but it was a big turnout, probably bigger than last year. It only took about 15 minutes to get everything picked up, cleaned up, and gone, so it was nice, but appreciate all the donations and help that we had with that. That's all I got.
Thanks for running.
I'll pass that on to my wife, I can't take that.
More? All right. Comments from the audience?
I've got one.
I want to thank you guys about the ball diamond. It is really, really nice. So you got to get up there and look at it. It is fantastic. But I've got a question about construction is going big time in LeClaire now. All that stuff's coming up to the park. I was wondering, has any of that been tested for contamination, like in front of Josh's and any of that material? And then, is the city pushing it over the hill? I haven't talked to Chris about it or anyone. Is the city pushing it over the hill, or is Langman coming up to push it over? Is Dwayne and Sandra coming up to push it over? I was just curious, because these guys have more to do than push rock up over the hill.
Chris?
Yeah, Dwayne did show up to push it off while I was gone in the rain. I did push some of it over the hill, and reasoning for that, if I push it over the hill, I get to see what's in it.
Because that was up,
With as much dumping that goes on up there of dirt and debris, et cetera.
Chris, do you wanna come up here? Sorry.
What's up?
Yeah. So as much dirt and concrete, rock, et cetera, gets dumped up there. As you said, we really don't know what's coming from down there. We don't. That is our wellhead protection area. So,
but there was some dirt there the other day. I was up there walking around and it was black and green and blue. And I don't know where it came from. It may come out of a horse barn or something, or a chicken coop, I don't know. But there's been other stuff dumped up there also, just not from the LeClaire project. And there's no one up there to monitor it anymore, so I was just being a concerned citizen.
How does something like that get checked out?
Excuse me?
How does something like that get checked out? I mean, how do you gotta have someone to be?
yeah, he said,
Test
check
it.
soil. How do we?
Yeah.
How do you test it, or how do you keep it?
Yes, yeah. For 2 years, I did monitor it up there all the time. And I told people, you can't dump car hoods, you can't dump tires, you can't dump all this stuff up there.
How do we find out?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it. You would have to monitor it. And, it's
Other
great
than
that that's getting filled, but I'm still concerned about, we don't know what's being dumped up there.
That is our well that we're using now.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know, that kind of bothers me a little bit, since we do have just one. We don't know, somebody could come up there and dump a big tub of oil or whatever, you know?
But it did look like somebody cleaned out a horse trailer up there. You know, they may have had brush in the trailer, and just cleaned it out. I just don't wanna see the compost facility. It's been great for the last couple of years, really been nice. I just don't want
Get out of here.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Chris, I have a question for you. I went up and dropped some stuff off the other day and got all those trucks lined up. We can get to the compost pile right now, or at least
It's
a
hard,
week ago.
it's hard to get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all the,
Can't they leave a couple trucks? Can't they park two
I can ask
back
them
to
to do
back
that.
so somebody can get through there? Because there's no way to get through there at all. They got
Well, I drove around them twice,
Whose trucks are?
close to the fence and around the outside.
It's
Fiber
guys.
Fiber.
They're the fiber guys, yeah. But I will ask them if they can move some stuff.
Yeah. It's getting that time.
So do we
Thank
need to think about closing that thing off to make sure that our wellhead is protected up there?
At least checking with public.
What are they digging down in McClure? Are they digging?
They're just taking it out there. No, they're just taking it out from underneath the street where they're.
But it's not like broken sewer lines, no.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know.
You
That's
haven't
just
seen
it, we
it,
don't
have you?
know.
And I don't know.
And
it's not just that,
Well, then just tell them don't bring it up there.
Yeah, I mean.
I'll just call Dwayne.
It's
and
not
tell
just
him.
that. I
That's
mean,
not.
I never really even.
I think it should be yard waste only.
That-
My opinion. The town loves
That
having
is within
it.
that wellhead protection area.
And it's really nice on a Sunday afternoon to be able to go up there and dump your brush or your flowers.
Or whenever you have time.
It's more than Dwayne's going up there. There's all kinds of
Right.
trucks. Right.
Well, I think it's part of Dwayne's stuff. Dwayne
Yeah.
And
They're all
together.
Well, we can just call Dwayne and ask him what he's putting up there too.
I talked to him today about it,
Okay.
and he did say, they dug in front of that old gas station. He was gone for a couple of weeks.
Oh.
Just don't know what they put up there.
So that's.
Was it tested? I asked
It'd be terrible.
Can you maybe ask them if they got a test or anything of that nature?
I say we just tell them
If
don't
they
bring it
did,
up there
then we
anymore.
need to see just having somebody say that they did test it is not good enough.
There's no
It needs
site,
to
they
be,
asked for the site sample.
it needs to be documented and it
They
is our
should
only
have site
well we're
samples,
using right
Chris.
now, so I
I
think
should have
it's
what?
pretty serious.
They should have site samples, those should have been
Yeah, they
required.
should when they're digging.
Yeah, you would think so.
So
And
I
that's
would
why I
ask,
asked Dwayne today.
yeah,
I'll ask, see if they can get them.
Well, let's just tell them to forget it. It's not worth the argument. That's what I say.
Or just call Claire and say, hey, what's your permit look like? Do you have that stuff, Let me see your sample.
Or we just say no.
Even so.
I would just say no. It's
I
not even
say,
worth,
my vote is no.
it's not even worth the headache. Just tell them to find somewhere else.
And I think we need to come up with a new plan for everything. So, yeah, I agree, it is really nice to be able to dump your stuff when you wanna dump your stuff, but for many years, we did it where we had to plan it, and at that time, we weren't in a predicament where we only had one well. So we only have that one well right now that we're functioning with, and I think it's important to protect it, and if it's a little bit of an inconvenience, I bet the citizens of this town would probably not mind it.
The problem with how it is now just always open is because we don't have volunteers to keep it open anymore. So
We
it
could
was
say
either
just-
lock it all together
You
or,
could just say residents,
I
brush,
say-
and see someone else,
Yard waste only.
yeah, but that, before, they would have it locked so people could make sure that it was yard waste only. Well, then we don't have any volunteers anymore, so it's just unlocked all together. So that's your problem.
If you see somebody up there with a truck full of trash,
Right.
you know.
Have you been having any problem with the yard waste stuff?
No, nothing with the yard waste. No.
That's what I say, just yard waste only, and if
We do have a sign there. If we could go back to a key, they come down here, leave their driver's license.
then everybody in town was going and making an extra key, and they all
That
had a
is true.
key anyways.
That is true.
The goal, the park was to try to get an extra baseball field back. But we don't have that going anymore, correct?
No.
We don't really need to keep filling it in, right?
I would agree.
Yeah, I think it's, just goes to yard waste only, get a new sign, yard waste only.
Maybe we can, I mean, can we put a fine
Surveillance
if you get
camera?
caught doing
Oh,
anything else, so
Yeah, yeah.
that,
How do you
that might deter people from saying,
Yeah, put it in, just pass an ordinance with a big fine and.
make it big.
There's a trail cam and put that there.
I just said, how hard would it be to put some cameras out there, and then if there was a complaint, you could scroll back and see who did it.
Do you wanna call Dwayne or do you want me to call him and tell him not to bring any more up?
Is it all his project?
I don't think it's all his
I
project.
think he's running the trucks though, those dump trucks that are coming up. I think he's got Dan Ash's contracted in, I think.
I don't really know that, I just, as he was passing by,
Yeah,
I don't care, you tell me, you want me to do it?
yeah, just, I mean, I can do it if you don't want to, I'll just tell him it's not worth.
Probably call the clear too and just let them know what's going on.
I know today,
Well, I don't really.
things that he said to me were, there's been a lot of shit dumped up there, excuse my French. It's, that's not the point, the point is, we have one well,
Right.
that is our wellhead protection area.
Well, we had to go to fill it in and not let that go anymore, so.
I agree.
Alright.
Do we need to do anything?
We can't do anything tonight, but we can get it on the agenda for next week. If anybody wants to make.
What's the 23rd agenda for? I mean,
It's the budget
Okay.
session, but since we're already here, we're gonna do an additional agenda to do all these other special
okay,
things.
that's right, I just guess.
It's just our final budget meeting night, but they can't all be on one agenda.
Closing direction from city attorney. Nothing.
Wait, I have a question.
It doesn't say city clerk.
Okay, well, you want this on the 23rd agenda or not? Is it going to be just like a vote? Is it going to be an ordinance with fines attached? What's it gonna be?
I think it better, I mean, to have teeth, you want it to be an ordinance with fines at hand.
So we
Yes.
is it possible to get an ordinance by the 23rd?
How much do we want the fine to be?
$500.
$500.
500.
500, shit.
Yeah.
7,000.
5,000.
Chris, I'm gonna need to talk to
Make
you
it so
about
they
what I
go,
need to
oh,
put
I'm
in the
not doing
ordinance.
that. Some
What
people
it
risk 500.
Relates to.
Yeah, 500 isn't enough in my
Yeah.
view, but
Make
it's
it-
our
Yeah, we go more.
Oh, per violation.
I'm not gonna doubt that.
It increases with each violation. If you've done it once, it's 500. If you do it, if
I
you're
don't
caught again.
Second offender.
I don't think 500 is enough to deter.
well, whatever.
Can we add in the
I
sign,
think 1,000.
this is our well water or something? Because maybe a lot of people don't know.
Then they probably would have.
Yeah, we could be, yeah, it could be titled wellhead protection area, and then underneath it,
Dumping fine.
I say they're gonna put a fine on, put something on it, so let's get the hell out of people. I would,
Well,
500.
whatever, it's your vote.
Yeah, we can go more.
I-
Like, we can go 50,000.
Well, here's the thing, if somebody's got a dump trailer full of
I'm not gonna
illegal
dump it
stuff,
there.
and they go, I can sneak up to Princeton and I can take a chance at dumping this for $500, or I can drive clear the hell out to the other end of Davenport and pay them 300, I'll take my chance, until they get away with it 5 times.
You're right.
And then it's like, well, that 500 was pretty cheap, so you might as well make it enough that's gonna deter them.
And put the trail cams up there.
Yeah.
Can you have it open just on
That's an option.
Saturdays or something, or was that?
It used to just be.
It used to
allowed.
be.
I wanna try to keep it open, I don't know what you guys think, let's try to keep it open.
Oh, yeah,
If it
definitely.
becomes a problem, it's a problem, but it keeps, can keep their yards cleaned up. If you don't have that open, next thing you'll have is a brush pile in everybody's yard, and people won't be doing. Let them take their stuff up there, and if it comes to the issue, we can't
Is
control
there
it.
not a different spot further away from the well that you can move it to?
I don't think so.
What'd you say, 2,500?
$2,500.
$2,500 fine.
Going once.
For first offense and then double for second offense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and then keeps
Doubling.
Double.
Closing comments from council. I don't have any.
I just wanna say thanks, Steve, for bringing that to our attention, because that's important, and
Just say have it.
No,
I've
no,
never
no.
thought about it.
We're hired as
Stuff
the
on
Iowa
the flare
standard.
up all the time.
Yeah, well, we only got one well.
Motion
Yes.
closed.
Second,
Roll call.
Warsaw,
yes.
Youngers,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
Fernand.
Yep.
Spears.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Yeah.
Kind of all of you.
I'm not worried about it.
Did I get rid of that thing that I gave you?